everyone. Let's get right into the Word of God. And today we're going to be reading Deuteronomy chapter 11. Therefore thou shalt love the Lord thy God, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children which have not known, which have not seen the chastisement of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm, and his miracles, and his acts which he did in the midst of Egypt, unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and unto all his land, and what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their horses, and their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you, and how the Lord hath destroyed them unto this day, and what he did unto the wilderness, or unto you in the wilderness, until ye came into this place, and what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and the sons of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possession in the midst of Israel. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of the Lord which he did. Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I have commanded you this day, that ye may be strong, and go and possess the land whither ye go to possess it, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give unto them and their seed, a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest and possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest the seed, and waterest it with thy foot, as a garden of herbs. But the land whither you go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven, a land which the Lord thy God careth for. The eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in its due season, the first rain and the latter rain. Thou mayest gather in thy corn, and thy wine, and thine oil, and I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods, and worship them. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that land yield not her fruit, unless ye perish quickly from the good land which the Lord giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by thy way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon your doorposts of thine house, and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children, in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you, to do them, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then the Lord drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place wherein the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you, for the Lord your God shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he has said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing, if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and a curse, if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods, which ye have not known. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord thy God hath brought thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side Jordan? By thy way there the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the champaign over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Morah. For ye shall pass over Jordan, to go and to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it, and dwell therein. And ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. And that is the end of Deuteronomy chapter 11, and me messing up all these sentences. As a summary of Deuteronomy chapter 11, we have the rewards of obedience. And Moses is reminding the people of Israel that he's speaking to the ones who have seen, the workings of the Lord and the miracles and what he did to all the people who rebelled and all that. And he's not speaking to the young ones, right, who haven't seen it. Because they should know better, right? The people who have seen God, God's miracles and all that. And not only that, they are the ones who need to teach the younger ones the ways of the Lord, right? And if they keep this, God's commandments, judgments, and all this, and being his people, he would give them rain in due season. He would put grass in the fields for their cattle, and they will have food, right? And then it goes down, that if they go after other gods and all that, the Lord's anger will be kindled against them, and it wouldn't be good, right? And now I want to talk about something a little bit interesting here, right? Because it says right here, therefore shall ye lay up these words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, and that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. Where have we heard that before, right? The mark of the beast. Here's God's mark, right? And in Revelations, right, it says, don't touch the ones, talking about the locusts and stuff that come up out of the earth. Don't touch the ones that have the name of God in their forehead, right? Or on their forehead. And, we need to kind of rethink the mark of the beast, right? Now, I'm not saying it doesn't have anything to do, with the microchip or whatever, because it's all a three-pronged thing, right? They're going to chip you like cattle, and track you, all that stuff with the mark, right? But it also has stuff to do how you act, who you worship, right? Whose commandments you're following, whose holy days you're following, right? But anyways, now back to the rest of the summary. So if they obey his commandments and stuff, right, and the judgments and the statutes, he will drive out all the nations, right? And they will, be a mighty people, and they will drive, nations mightier than they are, right? It says. And thou shalt put the thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal, right? So one side it will be, I forget it when it was. It might be this episode here where he puts one side of Israel, on Ebal, and one side on Gerizim, and he says pronounce the curses to Mount Ebal, and then I think this is when they're going in the land actually. Sorry guys. Anyways, but anyways, that's time for another. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening, and you guys have a wonderful day.